Justin Lalonde with us. Super happy to have you. You're one of the speakers as well for the Elevate event 2025. You're an online marketer. You work with big players like Iman Gadzhi Tai Lopez.
I started as a freelance graphic designer. I was like 14. Made YouTube tutorials, which I still have public on my channel from like 10 years ago. One of my best friends from high school, he was like, yo, I need a graphic designer to come on board and like work with my clients. So I said yes. He was making like 38 grand a month back then, which was crazy to me. Like at the time we were 19, you know? That really pushed me to say like, fuck it. I need to turn this from a freelancing thing into an agency, which I did. One thing led to another. We're here today. We've worked agency clients with like over 450 clients. Courses, honestly, we've had tens of thousands of students. Notably the program I built with Iman Gadzhi Tai Architect. I thought that guys that were cracking $1 million, $2 million a month had it all figured out. 80% of them have only one thing figured out, and it's either market or offer. Content's bad, operations is horrible, they have no team, back end is like nothing. So it reassured me to know that like, okay, guys making more money than me still don't have it figured out. So like there's an edge here.
All right, guys, new podcast. We have Justin Lalonde with us. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks, brother.
Hey, man, I'm super happy to have you. You're one of the speakers as well for the podcast for the Elevate event 2025. I'm so excited. We're like 42 days away from the conference.
It's coming soon, eh?
It's coming soon, man. Maybe it's gonna be in a long time for you, but for me, it's like every day counts right now. So how do you feel about that? You know?
Good, man. And I know it's feeling like it's coming close for me too. Like yesterday, and it's really nice because I'm actually using Elevate as the event for all of my team to meet up in person. Like a lot of my team members I've never met myself, and they've never met themselves. I'm flying out 2 team members from Budapest to come to like Elevate, and we're gonna be like, I told you earlier, we're 10 people as a part of our team, including myself. I think we're gonna be 6 or 7 of us who are gonna be in Montreal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like
awesome.
teams got Airbnbs now in Griffintown, like right around the venue, and it's gonna be sick.
Hey, I like to say I've been preaching and what I was saying for a while now. I want to create an ecosystem around Elevate. Yeah, and it's actually working. So businesses are thriving at the moment. Airbnbs are thriving because of Elevate. I'm happy with that.
It was hard to find an Airbnb, to be honest. It was all booked out, like close to the venue. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's good for the ecosystem. That's for sure.
What I was saying as well is like Elevate is gonna be an annual conference where people from all around the world they'll be at Elevate every year. Montreal is gonna be happening every year in Montreal because Montreal is not known for big conferences, bro. No. Like I've been in the business for at least 10 years now, and every time I have to go, I have to fly out to attend like big conferences. Last time like a big guy came, it was like in Barack Obama came in 2018, 18. And then there's Gary Vee who came like 10 years ago. I think there's a guy called Terry. He brought him in. I don't know if you remember those days. That's pretty much it. Like obviously after mine, like Danny G came back for a closer event, but that's pretty much it. Like Tai Lopez as well.
Correct. No, we're not on the map yet, I'd say, for event, but we're close to, New York and to all those big cities. I mean, we're not that far from Toronto either. So it's like, I feel like now more than ever, the entrepreneurship space is starting to pick up here, especially on the online side of things. Because offline, I mean, you've had businesses here, especially construction space is huge in Quebec. But like online businesses is really just starting to thrive. So I'm hearing a few people now from like major TV networks in Quebec, which are trying to like do a documentary following like online business owners here. And like all this stuff was approached recently for one of those. And it's like, there's even the mainstream media starting to pay attention to that now. So which is a good sign for us who've already been in the online space for a bit.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And how you been?
I've been good. It's been very busy summer. Got married.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You got married recently.
Yeah, like a month ago to the dot today. So yeah, it was a good time. Went on a honeymoon to Italy, but amongst all of that, been doing some major shifts in the business. So busy.
That's awesome. Well, for those who don't know, Justin, so Justin, you're an online marketer.
Yep.
You have your own courses that you sell as well.
Yep.
You work with big players like Iman Gadzhi Tai Lopez.
Correct.
And local big business as well, like Imo Facile.
Yep.
You worked with Alex Doyon as well. You're actually working with him right
correct.
now. So
Still right
can
now.
you just introduce yourself? Like
Sure.
Who's Justin Lalonde?
Yeah, 100%. So as you said, I've been in this space now for a couple of years, actively in the online marketing world since 2019, 2020. I started as a freelance graphic designer. I was like 14.
No way.
So that was like 10 years ago. And I was like, I made myself a Twitter account, started a small personal brand, made YouTube tutorials, which I still have public on my channel from like 10 years ago, which was like me, whole squeaky voice saying, hey guys, trying to show them through my designs. I got a few clients, believe it or not, was making a few $100 a month. And then what really kind of pushed me into this space was when one of my best friends from high school dropped out in our last year of high school, reconnected when I was in college. And he was like, yo, I need a graphic designer to come on board and like work with my clients. So I said yes. He was making like 38 grand a month back then, which was crazy to me. Like at the time we were 19, that really pushed me to say like, fuck it. I need to turn this from a freelancing thing into an agency, which I did. And then, one thing led to another. We're here today. We've worked agency clients with like over 450 clients. Courses, honestly, we had tens of thousands of students. Notably, the program I built with Iman Gadzhi Tai Architect was viewed by over 30,000 students. So I don't have the exact numbers, but it's a lot. It's one of the most popular paid ads program in the space in the last like 3 years.
It's easy to throw like big names like Iman Gadzhi Tai Lopez, but you're actually working with him. Can you tell me exactly what you do?
Yeah, sure.
With Iman Gadzhi.
Yeah, so Iman started, I started as a student.
Oh, you know what? Let's go back. How do you met Iman?
Yeah, so I started as a student of his. Like, it was one of my first ever mentor. I bought every single program in Mastermind and Ascensions that he could possibly have. So I have a very good lifetime value as one of his customers. And then at some point started making good money in like 2022. I ended up late 2022, early 2023, ended up going to Cape Town with one of my great friends, rented a villa. And we were 4 houses down from Iman's villa in Cape Town. And I ended up coming across him in person for the first time in Cape Town. So met up, had a good time at the club. It was just
at
like,
a club.
Yeah, at a club. So it was just like a kind of a random encounter, if you want. But he remembered me from the program. And then because it was a lot less students back then, a lot more one-on-one. So it was a different time. And then what ended up happening is a month or two after Cape Town, he ended up posting a story where he was looking to bring on a media buying coach, someone to host a weekly recurring call, kind of help out his students and community with just ads and service delivery. So I applied and I got it. So, and it sounds like I was being paid for this, by the way, which like full disclosure, I was not. Like it was just like free pro bono work for 9 months. And I really took it as like my duty to provide as much value as I could, because I'm a very big proponent of doing free work where it matters. Like nowadays that I have a reputation, so on and so forth, I hope nobody, watching this is going to think that we only do free work. Like I choose the free work that we do. But with that, I was like, fuck it. Iman has a very big brand. And if I can somehow, get close and provide as much value as I can without expecting anything in return, let's see where this leads. So for 9 months, I was hosting a recurring weekly call with his community. And then what I started doing is I noticed like a lot of questions from the students were reoccurring, and the program was quite outdated at the time. So I compiled a document with like a list of my recommendations, and I would just periodically send you recommendations internally to the C-suite and Iman, being like, hey, look, here's what I would recommend we improve in the program. Like students are now asking about this, and that. That's not yet in the program, or that's like something new with AI, which we don't touch in the program. Like we should totally update it. And then like was basically getting a thank you like internally, but no will apply type of thing. And late 2023, it had been like 10 months now since, or 9 to 10 months, something like this, where I had been hosting those calls. I texted internally. I was like, guys, I think I've done my time. Like, that's it. Thank you for everything. I can say that I've worked, with Iman and that's that. And then that's where they reached out and were like, well, look, Iman, follow me on Instagram, send me a text on WhatsApp. It's like, hey, would love to talk. Went on a Zoom call, and then he was like, look, in 2024, I'm looking forward to getting out of all of our programs. Like, I want to put experts at the forefront of the business. I don't want it to be just on me anymore. I want to bring this to a whole other level where we have courses for like various different topics, make this into like a whole platform for online education. Basically, his whole vision was we want to compete with like mastermind.com, I think it is. So, or what's the name? Masterclass is the website. And then the invitation came. He's like, look, what would you say if I invite you to come to Dubai, work with my team? My whole video crew is going to be with you for 2 weeks. Like, I'm giving you now a couple of weeks to think about building a program and a curriculum, and I want you to teach it since you've had a lot of great recommendations. So I said, fuck it, like, of course. So I threw everything aside I had planned for the start of 2024, and I was like, let me just make this my new priority. And that's kind of how it came about. Like, went to Dubai, spent some time with him, It was, I'm not going to sit here and act like we were every day 24 hours together. Like I probably saw him, I think 4 or 5 times in my time in Dubai. I was mainly spending time a lot with the team out there, but built the program, and essentially him marketing the program with me was a very good association, of course, because like people now on the outside are seeing my face alongside his face, and him in multiple VSLs and ads saying, we've got Justin Lalonde, a paid ads expert, doing this and that, coming to teach you guys. So it's like he's publicly vouching for me. So it was very,
That's awesome, man. Look at you
great.
now. You can drop Iman Gadzhi as one of your clients.
Yep.
And that gives you a lot of credibility. Like that's one of the things that resonated with me when I saw that a guy from Quebec working with Iman Gadzhi. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super proud. The fact that you're a Quebecois, right?
Yep.
So it tells a lot about your willingness to go there and actually do the job and 100% free for 10 months. That means like a lot of people when they wants to work with big players, like these guys are approached by hundreds of people every day. They're actually competing with you. They're actually dropping their prices just to work with Iman Gadzhi, just to have the credibility of saying, hey, I work with Iman Gadzhi. But no, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of sacrifice to say I'm gonna work for this guy for 10 months before doing it.
Exactly.
Like, something I like to say when I meet mortgage brokers, like they're asking me for advice. I'm like, if you're new into this business, work for the number one guy, but free for a year or two,
100%.
and you're gonna learn so much that after that you're gonna be good.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So, well, that's awesome. That's awesome. The story is awesome.
And it was good to see internally the way they operated too. Like, don't get me wrong, I too tried to look at how the team was cooperating together. Like, also what was Iman focusing most of his time on, and like when would he chime in on Slack with the overall team? And it was kind of interesting to see how that panned out. But
how was it internally? Like,
well, if there's one thing I kind of learned from working closely with them is just, and it's not, it sounds obvious from the outside, but it's even better to see it from the inside. It's just how much content focused this business really is. Like that, the amount of like, feedback that they had internally, and like driving like a persona of, what was the appearance supposed to look like on podcasts, and reviewing every single public appearance that, he had to make sure it was congruent with like their vision of like the character they had to kind of portray on social media, and like everything was taken very seriously. So I think like image and content was like the one thing that you could tell, like that's what we know him for. As people in the online space are like, oh, dude, this guy's a great brand. Like, he's everywhere. But to see them purposely engineering that internally was a whole different story, I think.
Amazing. And what do you think Iman Gadzhi got so popular and so, like, people actually sees Iman Gadzhi as one of the top guys, like, amongst Alex Hormozi?
Yep.
PBD is another level, but maybe Alex Hormozi, like, at the moment.
Yeah.
The fact that you work with him internally, like, what would you say, like, the one quality that made him Iman Gadzhi of today?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think this guy gets the space like no other. He understands like all the moving parts. I think he plays 2 games. He plays today's and tomorrow's game simultaneously. Meaning, if we go back a few years ago, I think it was 2022 or 2023 when he decided to take like content very seriously. So it's not been that long. Like back then, I think he had like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, like a couple tens of thousands on Instagram. Like it wasn't a crazy big personal brand. And I just think that, so a combination of a few things. Number one, all the big info businesses and personal brands I've seen scale, they've leveraged their own story rather than like what they could do for the client. Like they've really played into a narrative of like the hero story, which I think Iman's done amazing. Like it's always the, I moved from Dagestan to the UK. I had my mom, we had a hard time, like no dad in the picture. Like all of that story, we heard it for so long. So people get attached to a hero more than anything. And Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels has also spoken about this many times. Like that's, I think what he did well too, is the hero story character. So people could like
the what?
The hero story kind of character.
Okay, yeah.
So I think people could relate to Iman and see themselves as like him through that. So every big guru I've seen, they've played into their own story more than anything else. So that second thing is he's got like, and I always say this, there's 3 or 4 ways in which you can get good at growing a business from a marketing standpoint. There's either storytelling, consumer psychology, or being amazing with like numbers, like an econometrician, if you want. So I think Iman is an amazing storyteller. Like this guy understands how to move someone and like just get their emotions going through like content. Whereas somebody could build a crazy big info business purely by understanding numbers, which you'll see that trade a lot in like media buyers or in super analytical people. I don't think he's as much that guy. I think he's like a great storyteller from what I've seen with this. So that here's a story. And last thing, like he was one of the first to also massively invest into like putting money out of paid ads and putting it all into content. Saying like, instead of spending 80 grand a month on paid ads to shill out a course and program, let me just own the distribution here. And nobody really did that with the purpose of selling something in business, I think, before. I wouldn't say he's the first, but there wasn't that many people doing
And
it.
he's also he's also someone who tries a lot of new things. Like I remember a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago, like I saw a video of him like talking about history. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing talking about history?
Yeah.
You know, he made like an hour full quality video where he's talking about like you know, how this country was created and how I don't remember exactly the story. I don't know if he's still doing it. Maybe he wants to branch out and get other audiences. But is he doing it again? Like, do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, and I'm gonna nerd out for a second into I think why. And this is not me speaking from things I know internally. This is me speaking as a marketer.
Yeah.
Like, when you get to the point where you're one of the biggest figures in your space, aka the biz op of starting an agency, so the opportunity of making money being started an agency, he was pretty much arguably the biggest guru in the space for it. You have to go with your content has to appeal to an unaware crowd, which that crowd's desire is wanting to make more money, but they're not yet aware of needing to make more money. So like he has to create fear in the market of like, yo, you got to fucking move your ass now and make more money. Cause like he's so much bigger than anybody else that he creates the market. So to create a market, you have to create fear. And so he has to like go super fucking broad and say, here's how history brought us to where we are today. Here are patterns I've noticed in history, and here's how that's repeated today. And so governments are after you, puppet masters are trying to go, after your money. And so the only purpose of those events was like, I'm gonna make you fearful of like, oh shit, I need to act right now to like start to find ways to make more money. So that way you get pushed into his funnel. Now it's like, okay, how do I make more money? Go watch his YouTube videos, which is like how to make more money in 2025 as an example. Now those videos are like more problem aware. Okay, well now you want to make more money. Here's different ways of making more money. He's presenting you solutions. You become solution aware. Then it's like, okay, now I know of a few ways to make more money, but which solution is best for me? Then he's going to make a video like, why is starting an SMMA the best business to start in 2025 as an example? And then when he starts those, or when you watch those videos, then you're like, I'm product aware because now I know that starting an agency is the right way to go. So I'm aware of the product that is an agency. And now last thing you got to do is like, well, who can help me start an agency? He's the guy for you. So he pushes you through his entire funnel by making super broad content. So that's why he did it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And he did a great job as well.
Amazing job. Yeah.
I don't know if he's keep doing those kind of video, but it takes a lot of energy as well.
No, because he went up market. I think like he was dumb. Like you really have to dumb yourself down and speak to the masses to like do this well. But truth is like there's more money in high ticket. And I think that's kind of why he's going back to high ticket from what I see. Like selling, nobody's got rich off of selling something for like $37 a month, which was like Digital Launchpad, like the course platform. Like no, he made great money from what I've seen numbers shared online and heard in the space, but like, you get rich off of high ticket. You get rich off of selling a $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 program, which he's kind of leaning back.
I also saw on your website, a great website by the way, paidacquisitions.com.
Paidadvertising.com.
Advertisement, maybe one day acquisition as well, right?
Yeah.
It's a great name, by the way.
Thank you.
I don't know if you bought it directly from
I did. It was, I
think
sold. Like I was trying to buy paidads.com for a while, but the guy wouldn't budge below like 100 grand, and I was like, fuck it. But I got paidadvertising.com. It was an US agency that was selling it, and I think it was like a distressed sale because they sold it for like 10 grand, which honestly that domain is worth like way more than that.
So you bought it for 10 grand?
Yeah, I bought it for 10 grand.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a great name. I saw that you worked with Tai Lopez as well. So how was that experience?
Yeah, so I mean that came inbound. So it was like in April of this year actually, and I just got a DM on Instagram from somebody from his team, and you never know if it's like legit. Like someone kind of asking me like, "Hey, we'd love to get you and Ty's, mastermind to host a talk and whatever. Like Ty's gonna be present, blah blah blah." And luckily, one of my friends in this space, who's pretty successful also with his own business, had also done a talk at one of Ty's mastermind, and I saw that they both were following each other, like the guy who DM'd me. So I DM my friend. I was like, "Is this legit?" He's like, "Yeah, I've spoken to this guy before." So I ended up planted a DM, got on a call with someone from Ty's team, and he's like, "Look, Ty hosts a weekly recurring call in one of his private mastermind, high ticket mastermind, individuals doing X amount of money per year in there, and we usually want to get like one expert a week who like alongside Ty is going to be able to like talk of a certain topic. We'd love to do it with paid ads. We came across you. From what they told me, I think it was with Iman's program that they came across my name. And he's like, we'd love to, have you on there. So it was a recurring like weekly call that they had. Hopped on there, started with like Ty presenting or talking of a few things. His guy was like introducing also like the topics of the day. Then it was like cut to me to talk. Then it was back to Ty afterwards, and yeah, so it was.
That's
just
awesome. So you were doing calls and not
Yeah.
in person mastermind, because I
No,
know he
it
invites
was-
people as well.
Correct.
Like Raymond, he goes to his in person
person, yeah.
masterminds. Yeah.
No, it was virtual for this one.
It's so funny, man. It's like he's like we're getting out there. There's Raymond from Quebec. There's you from Quebec.
Yeah.
There's like me, like bringing
Yeah.
those guys from Quebec, those from all around the world to Montreal. It's pretty. We're getting there, right?
Yeah, we're getting there, but it's still a small world.
Yeah.
I'd say the fact that you can name all of these people by name means that there's not that many.
That's
right?
crazy.
So-
What do you mean, like a?
Well,
me mentioning,
Raymond,
like-
me, you, like, we can probably name another handful or two, like in Quebec, who are plugged outside of Quebec into the U.S. and whatnot. Like, there's not that many. So, yeah,
That's awesome. Let's keep it that way.
100%.
No, we want more. We want more. Okay, so that's awesome. So
Yeah.
you work with big players.
Yeah.
So what? Like, let me ask you this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you the best in this game? Like, what's the reason why clients are actually working with you? And after that, we can maybe dive into like niche subject, like how to make better ads.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll say two things. So I'll say like why I think we're good in general, and then why I think we're great in Quebec. Because I'd say let's put it that way. I think we're good. I'd even say we're great outside of Quebec, but we're excellent in Quebec, and I can give reasons to that. What made us good is hitting the bottom in like 2023. Like I was at a point where I was getting pretty fast with the agency, and money. I wouldn't say money got to me, but like it came easy. Like I went from making 20 grand a month as a 21, 22 years old back then, to making like 70K a month in like 3 months. We like tripled our amount of clients. I had to hire a fucking massive amount of team members at a time. But I lost all of these new clients and team members as fast as I like scaled the agency. Like 3 months ago, I was like making okay money. Then I started making great money. Then 3 months later, I was making like bad money again. So it was, well, I'm not here to say that 20K is bad money, but anyways, you get the point. And then I realized like we had no fucking way of delivering good results to clients that was like consistent. Like I was running the agency just like intuition based. It was all like, I kind of knew what worked with ads. I kind of knew what worked with offers and funnels. I kind of had it all down to intuition, but it was all like I had to come out with a whole new strategy every time we had a client. So it's going to sound like super boring, but all I did, and like I spent first 6 months of 2023, just how the fuck can we get repeatable results for clients, and how can I make this down to a science? And that's when like things really picked up for us. So one thing I'd say that I realize is most people, even big agencies and info businesses, run their business the same way I was running it all the way to 2023. Like I thought that guys that were cracking $1 million, $2 million a month had it all figured out, but like genuinely 80% of them have only one thing figured out, and it's either market or offer. Like everything else is shit. Their content's bad, operations is horrible, they have no team, back end is like nothing. So I thought they had it figured out because they were making more money, but it reassured me to know that like, okay, guys making more money than me still don't have it figured out. So like there's an edge here. And in the advertising side, I'd say that it was just like understanding the platforms were shifting to AI targeting. All the media buying now is like pretty much all automated. And the whole focal point of like your ads, the only thing that really mattered for results was creatives. So I was like, okay, how do we make something that sounds so vague actionable and systematic. So to finish this little rant and to get back to the question, which is, what makes us so great? I think what started to make us great was like the monastic focus on ad creatives back in 2023, which became a first thing, which like we really went back to copywriting basics from like the 1960s and stuff. That I was like, Facebook's a medium. Everybody fucking does the mental masturbation of, let me just do some targeting tricks and tactics on Facebook and like, what's the best account structure? And it's like, dude, at the end of the day, all that matters is the ad itself. Like, it's the ad and the offer. Like, you could fuck up your entire targeting and you would still print money if you got the creative and the offer down. So that's all we started focusing on as of like 2023 onwards. And while every other agency and their moms were like focusing on media buying and like, how do we, micro optimize?
What do you mean by media buying?
Media buying, I mean, like, you go into Facebook Ads Manager and you start like deciding, do I do an ad set budget optimization or campaign budget optimization? Do I scale the budget between 9 a.m. and 12 a.m. or do I do this between like all of those little budget decision, targeting decisions and little tricks and tweaks? That's kind of what I mean. So I was like, there's no point in focusing there. Like, this is not where the results are. There's literally no impact or barely any impact to the business that comes from handling this. Like, and that's all we were doing up until 2023. It was like all media buying. And I was like, dude, we've been doing this shit wrong. So since starting to focus more on helping clients out, like with and nailing the offer, getting the right ad creatives, having congruence between offer, ad creatives, and like the copy that is on the landing page and VSL or webinar, having all of this dialed in helped us get like much better results, I'd say. So that, and a second thing is an initial foresight that our market was getting more and more sophisticated and people had to rely on identification. Like, they would buy not because we had the best system, they would buy because we had the best brand. And so in 2020, I started making content, and I was like, I making content again because I stopped because I was doing it for design back then. But that really helped us also get like a lot of clients. So I'd say that's what got us to be good and then eventually great in the US. And in Quebec, you asked me earlier about a name that we spoke off camera as to like, why do I think we're better in Quebec? And now what's coming up to me is, well, the fact that it's like going to Thailand to learn Muay Thai and then coming back to fight against people in Quebec. It's like, they're no match. Like, you fucking fought against the best at that sport, and now you're coming back here and like nobody's done it. It's the same thing. Like, I was doing info and scaling offers to $1 million months in the US, which is the most sophisticated market. And then now we're doing it in Quebec also. It's like, no one's doing it. So no one's doing it to that extent, at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, that's a great answer, though. That's a great approach as well. Thailand, Muay Thai, and
Exactly.
coming back here. And obviously, you fight with the rookies, right? Like, not as good as the guys from Thailand. That's pretty sure. That's good. Let me. I want to ask you this. So about you're saying the creative ads is more important.
Yeah.
The creative side is more important. The actual like logistics behind the ads, right? So you could do. You could have the best system in the back end with Meta, but if you don't have good ads, it wouldn't work. And on the other side, flip side, if your ads are great, and if you mess it up on the Meta side, you'll still have a good numbers.
Yeah, correct.
So, and let's talk about like the Quebec market, right? So like Alex Doyon, he's actually like spending like $300,000 a year, right?
$300,000 a month.
A month, sorry.
Yeah.
A month, right? That's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. So I asked him that question, like, are you touching everybody at that kind of money? Like, I don't know, like we're only 7 million people. Like, there's a point where
we are. He's like, having now been working with them for I think 4 months at this point. He's definitely the largest info product business there is in Quebec. Like, there's no one that comes even close on the purely like info space. And it was the second time I spent this much in Quebec. The last time was for a real estate offer, but it wasn't consistent for the real estate offer. It was in bursts. These guys are like consistent 300 grand a month in ad spend in Quebec. I had to honestly also ask outside of my network. I have a friend in common with the founders of, I don't know if you know the e-commerce brand Case Me, which are an iPhone case brand. One of the only, like, from what I know, from what I've been told by this common friend, 8-figure brand in Quebec that's like direct to consumer, that's like spending 6 figures a month on ads. What I realized is, first of all, to spend this much on ads in Quebec, because you said it's a small market, you have to have a mass market offer. Like, you wouldn't be able to do this selling well, let's take you as an example. If you start selling a program on helping other mortgage brokers scale their mortgage brokers firm as an example. There's not enough demand in Quebec for you to spend this much, like monthly. It's just impossible. But if you sell iPhone cases, which everybody has a phone and needs phone cases, if you sell real estate, as like an investment opportunity, or trading, or crypto, or anything that's like everyone, fitness offers also. Had a client in Quebec that was doing $3 million a month in revenue selling fitness offers in like peak 2017, 2018. So all that to say, like, something that's for the masses can work in Quebec at that scale, but you have to change creatives quite often because frequency just goes through the roof. And it's not just a thing of frequency, like results just keep going down because it's the same fucking people being exposed to the ads.
Okay, let me have some maybe how do you call this in-person live advice
Sure. Yep.
on my business, right?
Yep.
So yeah, there's a mortgage business is doing pretty good. So I'm in a point where I want to get to another level where you get the mass market. So one of the things that I done is the free raising capital, the raising capital challenge, where we started like a month ago doing the 5-day challenge. It brought me to like around 300 people. I thought I was gonna do more, but for some reason we didn't do as good as I thought. But we're learning. This is my first time, right? And after that, I sold around 5 high tickets out of that, and also I raised $1 million of investment money, so I can invest that money in acquisitions. So from my understanding, from my reflections, I think it's a product where I can go national or even international because raising money, everybody needs to raise money, either it's for real estate or for some other. So that kind of business, do you think it's gonna be it's a scalable business, or like what's your first impression?
Purely raising capital?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so, but not in Quebec for sure. If you go national level and even like I'd say Canada, US, you definitely can. The only difference is that when you go, and this is where a lot of people sometimes, this is the problem with most people that are operating in Quebec. We start building businesses here and get some clientele in Quebec, and then like we do bilingual content, and I'll at least speak for me. And then you get to a point where if you keep doing bilingual, like you won't ever scale in Canada or English, in Canada English market or in the US English market. Like you have to go full English. Like you have to completely forget about the French side in order to get it. Because I don't know why, but it's almost like a deterrent. Like you'd be surprised, and this is gonna sound like I know you're not gonna sell to those people necessarily, but the average American doesn't even fucking know that Quebec speaks French. Like people are I'm still surprised by the amount of people who are like, no way, you guys speak French? And I'm like, yeah, we do. And it's just crazy. So like I was telling actually to you, you're a videographer before starting the podcast, like the average American or Canadian is fucking racist. Like they don't, if you speak anything else than good English, they're not going to look at you. And so if you want to scale in that market, like you have to completely forego of the entire French side or make it 2 businesses. You have a French channel and a French like account and whatever. And like your main has to be in English. That's the first thing. Second thing is offers are going to have to be like totally different also, meaning if you look at how sophisticated the market is, which it's a complicated word for how many other similar offers and competitors have they been exposed to before? It's way more in the American or just general Canadian market. And so therefore, if you come out and say, hey, I'm hosting a challenge where I'm going to help you raise capital, that's like a stage 1 claim. That's if the market was totally open, you could say this and it would work, which would probably work in Quebec. But truth is, like in more sophisticated market, you have to adapt your messaging. So say the market is in what you would call like a stage 3 or stage 4, which is new mechanism or an enhanced mechanism. You would have to have like a unique way to deliver that same transformation backed by like either a claim or a guarantee. So that's why you'll often hear it say in my space, right? Nobody in the English market can just go and say, I'm going to help you run Facebook ads. Nobody gives, like if I say this, I'm not going to get clients. Nobody gives a shit about this. But if I say, I've cracked the fundamental analysis process that helps you get 3x ROAS or more with your Facebook ads. And if I don't get this in 3 months, I'll wire you $5,000 for wasting your time. Now it's like, okay, I'll listen to what you have to say. Because that market probably already tried Facebook ads or heard about Facebook ads, didn't really work for them. So now they're like past that point. So they're looking for a new claim and so on and so forth. So you have to adapt like your message and your offer to be more sophisticated in the English market. So pretty much like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Got it. So okay. So, the fact that you're doing it in French
Mhm.
and you're actually giving me an advice where you're telling me, hey, you gotta stop doing it in French. You gotta go all fully in English. What's the
Why?
reason why you're doing it in French?
Well, first of all, I did like 14 pieces of short form content in French in what's it called in April of this year, just as a test to see kind of how would the views be, how would the market respond. And it kind of confirmed my like almost, I think 1 out of 2 pieces of content that I did went semi-viral, like in Quebec. It was like tens of thousands of views every time. And I was like, Jesus, this is way easier than doing it in the US. But it's for the same reason as you. Like I stopped it because I was like, I always did English and I went back to English because 2 reasons. Number one, the people in Quebec that I want to get as clients, they're probably already looking at Americans for advice. Like you, as an example, you look at PBD, you look at all of these other Americans. And so you're running a decent business here of a good size. And so you've kind of realized quickly enough that like you have to look outside of Quebec for advice. And therefore, if I speak in English and you see Justin Lalonde, which is Lalonde is probably the most Quebecer last name ever, like you would tell, yeah, this guy's probably from Quebec. So even though I speak in English, I still get tons of Quebec clients that come through from this. But I'm like 70% of our revenue and profits is still like non-Quebec based. So I don't want to, for the same reason I told you earlier, if I start speaking only in French, I cast out the entire English side, which I don't want because that's my main business. Second thing that I've realized is my second hypothesis that I tested this year is, okay, well, what if I only do English content, but I pay for ads in French? That way I don't fuck up my organic and I only target in Quebec. So all my American people and people in Europe and whatever, they're not going to hear my French content. It's just going to be with ads. Is that going to get me Quebec clients? And are they going to convert at the same rate as American clients? Worked amazing when I did this. So I was like, okay, well, my brand, my social proof is English based, which every Quebec client that we've had always said, I like the fact that you work in the US because that means that you did shit that we don't do here. And so it's an edge in that sense. So that's why I'm kind of perhaps giving you advice. It's like, do what I say, don't do what I do.
I think that's a great strategy.
Yeah,
like doing the ads in French.
Sure,
exactly. Like, because I have this mental challenge for like at least like 3-4 years. Like, am I doing it in English? Am I doing it in French? And the fact that I had this much followers on IG in French, I'm like, okay, can I like convert all those people to English? Like I have now recently, I have a lot of followers from Canada, the English Canada, and also from the States. Every time I do it in French, I'm wondering like, are they thinking that I'm cool because I speak like 3 languages, or they just follow me because they know me? But other than that, like I'm not giving them any values because I'm solely, most of the content I'm doing on that IG is mostly French.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you have hopes of going outside of Quebec, like most of us do here, like I just do it in English. Like going back, I don't get me wrong, I love the French language and I speak French with my wife, with my friends, with everybody around me. And I speak French internally with my clients, but the branding has to be in English.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. All right. I appreciate that. So we spoke about the fact that, like there's a small market, Quebec, so $300,000 a month, you kind of like it everybody. And the best advice you can give to people who are starting their business or they're already in the business, like you need to have different, if you want to invest that kind of money, that obviously you need to have a broader offers, not only one offer. In the real estate market, let's say, in real estate, you could, like, I like to say it's a bottom market where every state, every province has different technical reason why they can, like, the same advice you give to Quebec audience, you won't be the same as for the Ontario audience, because it's like maybe more in Canada, but when you go to the States, it's totally different. So you're saying that kind of product you can't really scale. That's what you're saying?
Well, you can scale, but not to the same extent. Like, let me give you, I'll give you an example of this. Say you're running a marketing agency specifically working with real estate agents.
Yeah.
Well, having had a lot of friends run those types of businesses, in the US, it was not abnormal for these agencies to reach like $500,000 to $1 million a month, just working specifically with real estate agents. If you did that in Quebec, there's statistically not enough agents for you to even get your agency to that point. Like it's impossible for you to get to that point. Does that mean it's impossible to run a marketing agency all the way up to $1 million a month? No. What the agencies do here, they usually have silos. Like they'll have a division that only works with like agents and brokers. They'll have a division that only works with like construction companies. And then they'll like scale horizontally, if that makes sense, by stacking departments. So going back to the example of, I guess, we're still referring to Club Crypto from earlier, which has like more of a mass market offer. What I'm saying is like, this is the easiest to scale without scaling complexity. Because by scaling horizontally, say you have a marketing agency with multiple service lines, it's kind of complex. You have to have a lot of people on staff, different service lines, different KPIs per, you probably have to have a head of department per department. Like it's a much more complex business than having one video sales letter, one funnel, one offer, one course that you can sell and make 1.5 mil a month, like some of these info businesses. So that's what I mean by this.
And how long can this kind of offer can exist? Like I'm saying, like my thought is, if you do it for a certain period of time, eventually it dies because
it does. All info businesses. So I'll use the same word that you said, which like I'll use the word offer. They're not businesses, they're offers. So what happens is somebody comes up, they think of a specific angle or like gap in the market, especially in terms of an information gap. Say the market is not aware of how to properly trade crypto, as an example. And so now you'll package that into a program or a course. But the truth is, what ends up happening is like, if you're the first one to make a lot of money, then a lot of people start paying attention. They're like, oh, fuck, these guys are making so much money. Then that means I can make money too. And we've seen that, to not name any names, but at the closers event, how many guys have I spoken to who also started doing crypto or trading courses in Quebec? There's like probably 10 other guys who just started in the last year. And now like suddenly all of these guys are flooding your feed with content. They're all running ads. And what happens is when everybody says the same message, the market gets more sophisticated. It goes back to what we said earlier. The offer has to get more complex. The guarantees have to get crazier. And it's just a race to how much competition can the market take on, which therefore like there will become a point where no matter what you say in the ad, people will stop converting because like they've heard everything, they've been promised everything. So usually the cycle for most info product offers is like at best 5 years. It's 3 to 5 years most of the time. Like that's a very, very good offer, will run 3 to 5 years. So if you're smart, well, there's two things that you do. You either stack up all the profits, you've made life-changing money, millions in profit during that time, you invested and you're fucking good for life. Or you hijack the fact that you're in an upward trend and you start building a back end. Let's take a real estate offer as an example here. You're teaching people how to invest into real estate. Well, what is a logical move that you want to make from this? Well, people will need access to capital, or they'll need help finding deals, or they'll need help also managing properties. Well, what if I now either build or acquire businesses that can give you access to capital, give you access to deals, or help you manage your properties? Now I'm making my service more valuable on the front end. And if you've gone through my program on how to invest into real estate, you'll use my companies in the back end to like manage all of your investments. So that's great. So it's like the race is either, you have two options as an info product business, in my opinion. You either, while you build today's business, which is the front end info business, you build tomorrow's business by stacking back end offers that are more sustainable in the long run, like financial services and so on and so forth. Or you stack the profits, and which 99% of the people in the space don't, because they go out and they buy, cars, watches, whatever. Like everybody fucking splurges. But you stack the cash and you invest it and you park it so that when the cycle is going to be over, like you're still good. So yeah.
That's an amazing advice, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, you're right. The 5 years is a good lifetime value, right? It's a good lifetime. Based on your knowledge and your knowledge, like what you're seeing on the market, who do you think that has a potential in Quebec on branding side that can maybe reach as in the same level as like Iman Gadzhi, Alex Mozi? Do you think there's a guy who can get there?
Same level, I'd say it's impossible because we don't have going back. If every Quebecer followed you, you'd have 7 million followers. You'd already have less than all these guys. So like statistically, it wouldn't be possible. But I would say, so look, let's think Hermosi, but Hermosi is a worldwide audience. Hermosi is a great example. Let's just take his IG account. I think he's like 5 million followers or something like this. Let's just assume that it's 2/3 of it is American. So it's like 3 million followers. That's 1% of America's population. So if you follow the same rule and you say like to be Hermosi level, you'd have to hijack 1% of Quebec. That's like, I think 70,000. If my math is wrong, yeah, if my math is right, I think it's 70,000 followers that you would have here.
Yeah.
So if you have 70,000 B2B followers in Quebec, like you're fucking Hermosi level in Quebec.
I think what's his name? Olivier Primo. He has like a 600,000 followers.
Yeah, Olivier Primo actually is. I would compare him less to Hermosi, more to like Logan Paul or KSI, because it's like he's selling directly to them. Because I'm like he's selling drinks and he has a B2C like brand. It's more so he doesn't really cater to business owners. His brand is more so like, how do I get the general population of Quebec to like follow me and like me so that I can then sell them all my drinks type of thing. So it's like a different vibe, I'd say, with him. But purely like business owners, dude, if you have 70,000 business owners in Quebec following you, like you're up there. But all that to say, I'm going to go back to your question, which is who exactly do I think has that potential?
And I'm not talking about only like Quebec audience. I'm talking about like this guy can blow even.
Blow up outside of Quebec, but be from Quebec.
Yeah.
It's great. Oh, well, that opens up a lot of opportunities then. Well, hopefully either you or I can get there.
Shut up. Don't send me flowers like this.
Besides this,
no, seriously.
Jeez, it's a very tough question. I'm going to be pessimistic and say nobody's doing it right yet. Here in the B2B space, I don't have a favorite person that's like Quebecer and does great at B2B. I would have to say the only, maybe you know more than me, but like Tatiana Londono, I'd probably say like she's one of the people that I know here who's doing good money in both her main business and coaching and / programs, and is not just in Quebec anymore.
Yeah.
But if I follow like that persona, because we're comparing to Iman, and because I know we have a lot of artists that are from Quebec that they've cracked outside of Quebec. I'm specifically talking about B2B influencers. Tatiana Londono, I mean, she's already started on a pretty good path. Besides that, who else? Who else you got in mind?
Maybe Sonia.
Sonia, sure.
She has an audience in French.
Sonia, sure. I'd probably say she's more like, although she does some bilingual stuff, like it's mainly francophone, so like it's French, France, and like Quebec. But who do we have that's like international level in the B2B space, like really popular business guru? We don't have one yet, to be honest.
That's good.
It is good.
There's a void to fill in.
Yeah. No, I agree, 100%.
That's awesome, man. Do you have any advice for those who are starting on the paid ads? What are the things that you need to like focus on, especially if they have a small budget? And we can maybe get into the big budget. Like, what's the best advice you could tell them? Hey, listen, man, this is what you need to do to not throw your money in the garbage.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I love analogies. It's like, say somebody who wants to become a professional swimmer, if they spend all their time just learning about water and the chemical elements of water and like how water flows and works, you're not going to be a professional swimmer. You'd rather work on your body, have like a good solid back, work on your stroke. When you go to ads, it's like going back to what we said earlier, don't try to learn everything about media buying, and like the platforms seem scary, but they're not. They're super easy to run. So before you worry about ads, worry about offer. Like everything is market and offer. And I know you had them in your office, Alex Hermosi's $100 million offer book, which amazing book, by the way. I've reread it last week. I think I've reread it so many times now. He says something in there at the very start of the book. There's almost like a pyramid of like what's most important to scale a business. And at the top of this pyramid is market. And that's kind of going back to what we were talking about, the Quebec market. When you have a market like a starving crowd that hasn't been pitched anything yet, dude, you can just go to that market and sell fucking anything and they'll buy. So like market is, before you run ads, figure out like what your market really is. And going back to this, like it sounds so fucking vague what I'm saying here, but it genuinely is the only thing that matters is market and offer. Like if you have this right, no matter what ad spend, no matter what settings you're going to put into your ads, like you will succeed for sure. So if you were a beginner listening and you're like, well, what do I do to start spending $10 a day versus what do I do to start spending 300,000 a month. It's very similar things. It all starts with market and offer. I think that $10 a day or $15 a day, whatever it is. So first of all, we can get into nitty gritty, but general guideline, whatever your target cost per action is what you should spend daily as a budget. So say you're aiming to get a lead for $10 because you've worked through your unit economics and you understand that X amount of leads become book calls and X amount of calls become a client, and the client is worth this much to me. I need to get a lead for $15. Great. Spend $15 a day minimum. Like always spend whatever your target cost per action is, spend that daily minimum as a general rule of thumb. If you don't have that money, don't start with ads yet. Go organic. Organic is going to be much cheaper for you to crack and figure out, and you'll get proof of concept by doing this. Ads, I like comes from Cole Gordon, a sales coach in the US. The $18,000 rule, which like have 18 grand saved up in a bank that you're ready to just burn if you're going to start running ads. Because it is costly to crack at the start. Like it's costly to crack the offer and the funnel and the positioning at scale. When you do organic, and I'm rambling a little bit here, but to finish the piece of advice here, I say start with organic, then go in ads. But there is a problem that will come from that, is that when you sell organic first, for whatever reason, people organically feel like they know you. So organic is almost like too easy sometimes, where you can sell them, again, basically anything, because you've built like almost like a little cult-like following, which really trusts you because they've made the conscious decision to follow you, whereas an ad is sponsored. And so people feel like you're kind of intruding on their feed. But because of that, sometimes the offer that you've cracked organically, when you're going to bring it on to paid ads, it's just not going to scale as much because it's not meant for the masses. Like it works for people who know you, but it doesn't work for people who don't know you. So long story short is, if you don't have the money, start with organic. It's going to be less costly. Crack an offer that'll work there. When you get the paid ads, have $18,000 saved up. Your entire purpose here is not going to be about figuring out what media buying strategy or creatives you should run. For 3 months, focus on offer, funnel, and like market that you're selling to. You're going to have to crack that again when going to paid ads.
Something else I was thinking about while you were speaking is, like, talking about the creative side. Like, I would rather, like, I'm thinking about this, like, most of my content I'm doing like face to the camera, but I would rather like hire people or strategists where he comes in and maybe like, hey, change the angles, somewhat creative. Because the thing is, I've been seeing a lot of ads right now where these they're promising $1 million views or stuff, crazy offers. And then I see their ads, they're actually doing crazy stuff. They're on Mount Everest, like the first angle, and then they go somewhere else on the second angle. Like they do crazy stuff. Now I'm thinking, okay, this is how they get it. You need to have a really good hook to get those kind of levels, right? Like, because you're sitting down talking to the people, having crazy saying, you wouldn't get to those kind of views.
Yeah, no, correct. I mean, if we now get down into breaking an ad in itself, like, an ad is a funnel in itself, because sure, you have, if it's video ad, granted, like there's the hook, there's then the core, and then the CTA, but it all depends on market and offer. Because going back to earlier, same example I gave earlier in the podcast, like if I'm going to a super unsophisticated and untapped market, and let's take crypto investing, you could go to Quebec and say, I'll help you invest into Bitcoin. Nobody has helped Quebec individuals to invest into Bitcoin. And so therefore now they're like, oh, great, like, I'll just buy. Go into the US, run an ad and say, I'll help you invest into Bitcoin. They're like, fuck you. Like nobody's going to pay attention. So you have to, whatever you're going to say in that hook or what you're going to say in the core or in the CTA depends on the market and the offer. So, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's a guy, he's a great marketer. I think so. I don't know. Maybe you have a different opinion. He doesn't have, like, what is he called? Gorilla something.
Is he from Quebec or is he?
No, he's an Arab. He has a UK accent, English accent. Okay. He does he goes to like Rolex watches, and it's like, do you know the guy?
Sabri Subi or
that's the guy.
Sabri Subi,
yeah.
I think you have the book for this guy, Sell Like Crazy from Sabri Subi, which I don't know if you have the book.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, so he's Australian.
Australian, right?
Yeah.
So he does those kind of creative campaigns where like he's always all like moving around.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of reach because of that, right? Like one of the reasons I seen his stuff, because like obviously I'm in the marketing side, but also because he has crazy ads.
Yep. Well, and if you then go into the why, because like I think this can seem intimidating. Say we're talking again to the audience who some of them might just be starting out with ads and they're like, oh, dude, does that mean I need like a professional camera and I need like all those crazy scenes in a Ferrari like Sabri Subi. And it's, well, understand why he's doing this. Advertising agencies, and he's advertising primarily in Australia, Canada, and in US, which insanely sophisticated market. He's not niche specific, which therefore means he's selling advertising services to any business out there. So he's not niche specific, and he's in one of the most sophisticated spaces there is out there. So when you're in a very, very sophisticated market, no matter what you pitch at them, they won't listen to you unless they identify with you. And so you have to sell through identification, which I think is what he does well. People will identify with the humor or the craziness of the ads. Like, do you finish the ads? And I'll even ask you this. Do you remember the offer he pitched in the ad, or it's more so like, oh, fuck, this guy, like, this is funny.
To be honest, I don't remember the offer, no.
All of us are just like, oh, dude, I fucking love this guy. Like, this is funny. This is refreshing. Yeah. So he sells through identification. But a brand new market, like say going back to Quebec, you wouldn't need to go crazy like this. Like you would not need all the production costs that he has to pay for, you know, the sophistication of his market when it comes to Quebec.
You're right. Yeah, at the same time, but then it keeps you only in Quebec, right?
Sure. Well, I'd say, because there's two ways to see it. It's like you either go crazy like him, and you advertise in an unsophisticated market and treat them as if they were sophisticated. You'll end up finding that it's going to cost you way more money than it should to advertise in that market. And to be honest, you're going to almost overwhelm them by this. Like, go back to Quebec, and I don't know. I'd be curious to try it out. But like, if you had a crazy ad like this, super high production, very loud in your face, cars, this and that, I think you get a lot of hate. I think a lot of people would be like, what the fuck is this? Like, they're not yet ready for this. But give them 5 years of consistent exposure to increasing claims in ads and increasing quality in ads, and now drop them with this. They're like, yeah, now it's the only thing that they'll believe at this point. So yeah.
It's awesome, man. I appreciate all the advice. Maybe to finish the podcast properly, the question I like to ask pretty much everybody is, if you have to go back to your early self, right? Like when you were starting, what's the best advice you will give to this young Justin, maybe to scale faster?
Take content more seriously, to be honest. Like I think content is the paid ads is an accelerator to an existing fire, but that fire could be your brand. And so I think, like, now more than ever, we've talked off camera about the rise of AI and how I think we're like democratizing expertise and knowledge, and distribution is becoming the one thing that gives you like a moat or an edge. So therefore, I would have focused on branding way earlier. And I always half-assed videos. Like, I think genuinely, it's very hard for me to be proud of a piece of content that I make. And usually I just do it because I have to do it. And I'm always like, I engineered my content to be like systematic. So every week I shoot X amount of posts and that's it. And I found that consistency gets you some branding, but actually spending time to crack content and become good at it can get you much further than anything else, in my opinion. So if you're a technical founder and you're like, dude, I'm a nerd, or I hate the camera, get yourself a creator as a co-founder. Like, you have to, nowadays, I think it's mandatory to have someone in the business who's just great at content. So I'd take content more seriously if I had to start again.
Awesome. And maybe a book that you like. That I'm a reader. I like to read a lot of books. Are you a reader first?
Oh yeah, I read a lot.
Okay. So what's the best book that you will recommend people, or maybe your best or your recent one that you really liked?
Yeah, I'd say recent one and best. A recent one, first, or Principles by Ray Dalio. I think it's a great book that I read not too long ago. And what I'm realizing now is another book I'll probably drop here, Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz, Ogilvy on Advertising by David Ogilvy. Those two are mainly marketing books. They push you to think in first principles, in the sense that those books are like, you hear from copywriters who've made hundreds of millions in dollars for their clients or for themselves. You hear from like a trading manager or hedge fund or whatever Ray Dalio is or was, that's made billions in money. And like, these guys, they don't start talking to you about like, oh, what is the algorithm that we build or this or that. It's all like, here's the first principles that no matter what happened through business, help me kind of carry through every phase. And me being in the online space, every 6 months, there's like a crazy new update or like a new app platform or a new thing. And it's like, you always feel like you have to reinvent yourself. Whereas like, truthfully, you don't. Like, it's the same exact things that just carry over new platforms or new methods. So that's why I recommend Principles by Ray Dalio. An overall life book. I loved reality transurfing, which I read like years ago, which although being a Christian, like reality transurfing is like a whole new way of thinking about it's like law of attraction, all that kind of jazz, but pushed to like a whole different level. Um, and I think, if you're in business, you got to be a little delusional at times to help you, push through the tough times. And I love the way this book helped me think about life.
Awesome. And lastly, maybe a question I never asked before, but talking about new platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were saying there's all the same principle that goes to different platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about school? Because school is getting more and more attractions,
Mm-hmm.
and you could pretty much like build your own community, make a revenue, passive income out of that. And I'm sure like school is gonna maybe one day try to like compete with Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're gonna run their own ads. Alex is going in that route, so I don't maybe. So what do you
So
think?
is Iman with WAP, technically. That's also what he's doing on his side.
Okay,
So he's got like
are you talking about the WAP that you whoop?
no, that's that would be the training or the training device, the Whoop. But WAP is like a payment processing platform and community builder, just like school. And I would say WAP and school are like the two biggest in this space right now. And I don't know. I wouldn't say these platforms are yet competing with social media platforms. I think they have the potential to, as you're saying. But for that to happen, they have to be treated as like a hub where people spend more time on like school and or WAP than they would on like Facebook and Instagram. So therefore, they would have to have a lot of content to consume. Truth is, right now, if you go in school, you would have to kind of know what community you're looking to join. Would that be free or paid for you to either get value of the app? Same thing with WAP. You go to WAP and school both have a discovery like mechanism, but it gets a little overwhelming with the hundreds of thousands of communities on there. So like if you're a brand new user and you don't yet know which community you want to join or like which one you're going to find value in, I don't yet think those apps are good enough for you to really spend a lot of time on them, which is a problem that we found with a lot of our clients who are like very school or WAP heavy, which is like I had a client in Quebec host a webinar through like he pushed the ads to people to sign up to his school community and then posted the link to the webinar in school. The attendance rate was like not that high compared to hosting it on a Facebook group because like much more people are familiar with Facebook and spend time on Facebook than they do on school. So what do I think about those platforms? I don't think that currently they're competing with the social media platforms. I think they have the potential to, but they have to make it easy for a brand new user to find their way through the platform. And I think there's too much of a barrier to entry. You feel like an outsider. It's like the online space is such its own little bubble and world that if you're not yet used to the space and you get on one of those two community-based platforms, like you'll get lost pretty quickly, I think.
I think that's a great answer, man. What's your favorite platform? School or what?
Yeah, that's a good one. Currently still school.
Yeah.
I'd say that's where I host our own program.
Iman's not gonna like it.
I mean, hey, look, I'm honestly being honest with this. I'd say school is where we're still a host because I think school is simple. WAP has way more functionalities than school does, but I think it's like kind of complex again as a beginner to use.
Never been into a WAP, Whoop or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm mixing it up with
the Whoop band.
WAP, right?
WAP.
Well, okay,
WAP.
amazing. Well, again, Justin, thank you so much. Looking forward to see you at Elevate. And lastly, I've been saying lastly forever. But what are you gonna share exactly
at Elevate? Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot today about AI, or at least hinted at it, paid ads, what to do if you're a beginner or advanced. So I'll be sharing on stage the playbook that you should use now. So in other words, how to integrate AI to help you do market research, to help you come up with ad creatives, to help you come up with way more ads than your competitors, and to help you set more deals, book more meetings, and close more sales. So
awesome, man. Awesome. Well, like I was saying, to pretty much all the speakers, I want people that can share stuff that they can actually apply right away and actually delivering it. I saw what you have built. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to see you at Elevate. Let's go, baby. Thank you, Justin.
Love it, bro. All right, thanks for the invite.